What is up, everyone? Are you someone that has two left thumbs? Or are you the kid that sends spam messages when you can't hit Corey Kluber's sinker? Well, today, we are going to be taking a look at monitors for MLB The Show 20. I'm going to give you a brief overview of some of the differences. Let's see if I can explain this right for all the computer nerds and geniuses out there. But I'm going to give a basic understanding of how I believe a monitor is going to step your game up instantly. Alright, as you can see, I just have a web page up. I said I know a lot of technical specs. I've built some computers of my own as well, but this is an interesting kind of subject to explain and go over, so correct me in the comments if you need to, if I'm kind of wrong or I'm a little bit off. But I did some more research just to make sure I'm kind of spot on a lot of this stuff. I pretty much pulled up a basic web page. You guys can look at Google, you guys can take a look anywhere that you would like for any of this information. But pretty much today we're going to be going over monitors and why you should be getting one for MLB The Show to help yourself out. So pretty much there's two basic principles in looking at monitors. I'm not really going to go into much as the panels as far as IPS and all those other ones, TN panels. I'm not going to go into that much because when it comes to console gaming, I really don't think those have as great of effect as if you were playing a computer game at a really fast rate. But pretty much there's two things that you need to look at, and one of them is response time and one of them is refresh rate. So you can read this definitions on here, you can take a look, but I'll kind of just summarize it. The response time is pretty much the time it takes that your monitor to refresh or shift from one color to another. This is kind of the area that a lot of people talk about when you hear about response. Response time as far as like 1 millisecond, 5 milliseconds. Generally, if you're gonna go out and invest a monitor, you might as well just go for probably the better one and just put in some money and just say, screw it, and let's just, get this one that'll help me improve my game a little bit better, instead of playing, cat and mouse games trying to decide which one's the best for you. But I would say try to always just look for 1 millisecond. 1 millisecond is going to be your best bet. I know a lot of people say that some of the manufacturers lie on some of their specs and certain things, which is kind of understandable, or depending on what the application you're using it for, it might vary. But I would say do your research, kind of ask some people, even go on Reddit. Reddit has some good computer forums and certain things that you can kind of, they might not know about MLB The Show, but they'll give you more specs than a lot of the console players will even know themselves. So I would always recommend just go with the lowest. It's pretty much what this is saying, if I understand correctly, even myself, that say you're playing a game and you're playing on, just say like a big monitor, right? Or I should say a big TV that's like 50 inch, probably has a high response time of 8 to 10 milliseconds or whatnot, even like 12. If you'll probably see that on certain quick pitches or certain curveballs, that there's kind of a slight ghosting or almost like lag kind of effect, I guess you would say, when it comes like the ball going through the screen, going through different colors and things like that. And you might miss curveballs, or you might misjudge the actual spin on the ball. That's just because you're kind of, that response time is just not there, and you're kind of getting that what they call ghosting, where it's like the colors are kind of blurring as it's going through a given path. So maybe like on a monitor with a 1 millisecond response time, you'll be able to actually maybe see that curveball or that fastball, or that depending on what camera angle you use, that like rotation on the ball that might help you kind of pick it up. And that's the beginning. Picking the ball up out of the pitcher's hand is important as ever. I noticed that my hitting's improved because a lot of times I would kind of look at the PCI a little bit more in my visuals, my main visuals, instead of looking at the pitcher's hand and kind of using my PCI as a second nature, like off the corner of my eye. And that's a difference, and that's why I know some people turn the PCI and all that stuff off so they can just focus on just naturally hitting like you would in the game. That's a little difficult. I prefer an indicator in this game, especially with how the hitting engine works, and you really need to be spot up on the ball. So I would prefer to leave my PCI on all the time. But that's pretty much, long story short, what response time is going to get in. It's just kind of the color blurs and how fast color changes through given pass and everything of that nature. So it'll be easier to pick up the rotation on the ball and not kind of get that ghosting trail effect behind it. And then the other measure is going to be refresh rate. Refresh rate is pretty much how fast images or new frames come on the screen and I guess keep refreshing, as yes you would say, to put it in real simple terms. So the higher the refresh rate, the more frames and the more quicker you're going to be able to pick things up. Both these terms kind of go in effect, but they do different things. But I would focus on getting low milliseconds, get the colors down, get that ghosting effect out of the way, because when you play on console only projects at 60 hertz. So getting a monitor, if you're only going to be playing on console above that, is just spending a lot of money that you don't really need. And in a little bit I'll kind of go over two of the monitors that I have that I still use, but some of the reasons why I have them and where I started from, as far as why I moved on from another monitor but still use it as my second screen and all that fun stuff. So one of my monitors, I'll kind of just go over it real quick though. One of my monitors is 144 hertz. That's mostly for PC gaming. You don't really need to go into that realm, like I said, if you're just going to play console. So if you just pretty much get something that's going to match the console, you're going to be perfect. Just get a 60 hertz monitor, 27, 24 inch. Look for the lowest response time, preferably 1 millisecond, and you should be right on that level of starting to be able to recognize pitches, be able to swing quicker. You'll just be able to feel like you're swinging crisper, and you won't have these like inputs and lag, and like just feels like you can never hit a fastball. I know when I used to play on a 50-inch TV, I could not, when I first started MLB The Show, maybe in 16 or 17, I could not hit a fastball for my life. And all of a sudden, I got one of my first monitors, and it was like instantly. I still had to learn, how to hit and read pitches and all that stuff, but it was like instantly I could just feel the reaction time was just like boom, 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 and I could really get on pitches and elevate my game to the next level. Something that I'm not really going to get into as much, because like I said, I feel like with console gaming you're very limited on the actual specs. I think that you really need to kind of worry about as far as improving the skill level or the technology that you need to do everything behind it. But pretty much there's a couple panels you can get. There's TN panels, IPS panels, VA panels. There's pros and cons to all of them. Some might have a little bit more ghosting, but the quickness or the frame transitioning is a lot faster. Some might have quicker refresh rates and response times and all this stuff, but the colors are going to be a little bit less and not as popping, just because they're utilizing more of that software and technology towards improving the speeds and everything, and it takes kind of a hit on the colors. But those are pretty much the two main terminology, whatever you want to say, that you pretty much need to just worry about when picking out a monitor. There's certain monitors that do the same thing that will cost more, mostly because of the brand. I typically use a little higher brand because I've been using them for the past 3 or 4 years since I've been streaming, and I really love them. Right out of the box, I never have to adjust any colors. I never really have to do anything. I kind of just plug them in, maybe check if I need to, but they're usually spot on and they're just ready to play. I'm going to go take a look at those monitors right now for you. So this is the monitor that I first got. I've had two versions. One that I got when I first started streaming maybe 4 years ago, and then I bought obviously a little newer one that was the same type of monitor and everything. It was just made a couple years later just to kind of stay up a little bit more with someone just a newer feel and have newer technology. But pretty much this is the monitor I started with. It's an Asus 27-inch 1920 by 1080p 1 millisecond. I believe this one has two HDMI plugins and one DisplayPort plugin. So if you are someone who streams and needs to have a couple inputs or a couple screens, I would say running off one PC, it has enough ports that should give you the best bang for your buck. So we're going to take a look at the buying options. This one is roughly, looks like it's around $180 to $185. It's a great monitor, great colors. I do like 27-inch monitor because if you're going to not just play console, you're gonna maybe watch movies on your computer, or even just watch them just if you have something hooked up to it, then it'll be a good monitor to do that as well. I just have everything hooked up to my PC, so when I refer a lot of stuff, I'm doing a lot of stuff on my PC. I don't generally like watch movies or have it hooked up to a DVD player, or use my PlayStation to watch movies or anything like that. But that's the monitor I first started, I still have that monitor. I use that monitor as my second monitor for when I'm streaming and all that, so I can see extra things and I don't have to cloud, you know, my first one up, since I'm obviously playing the game and won't be able to see anything anyways. The second monitor that I have, this one, if I would recommend, if you're a person who plays PC games and plays PlayStation and even does, you know, graphics work or a lot of other things, I love this monitor. I thought 24 inches was going to be hard to deal with after I've been, you know, dealing with the bigger 27 inch for such a long time. But when you're delved in and you're just, you know, looking in, hunching in, that you can pretty much see everything. You're not going to have any hindrance. Nothing gets cut off on the screen. Nothing of that nature. It is a 24 inch, same company Asus, 1 millisecond, but 144 hertz. So kind of like I was talking about earlier about all the refresh rates and all that, 144 hertz is going to allow you to get, you know, really good frames when you're, especially when you're playing PC games. You'll be able to cap out, you know, when you're playing, you know, Apex or Fortnite or Rocket League. Well, Rocket League doesn't have, that was a bad example, but you know what I mean. Any other, you know, mostly shooting games, Call of Duty, you know, all that given stuff, you'll be able to cap out and hit a high, you know, frame rate as well along with this, and you'll be able to, you know, get those shots in, where before, if you know, if you were playing that, you might be struggling. This monitor still work on your console, but like I said, your console only goes up to 60 hertz, so it's not going to be very beneficial because your console's capped out, so you're not going to be able to fully utilize the specs. Because if we go over to the buying options, this monitor, I think I got this monitor maybe a little bit on sale last year. It looks like it's gone up a little bit more, but it used to be like around 270 bucks. It's $290, which for, I know most people who already, you know, have a hard time getting stubs in the game because they don't have, you know, a credit card just with endless amount of money just, you know, to be buying things. This monitor is a little pricey, especially I know MLB The Show, especially being on console, has a lot of younger kids, you know, as well, where they kind of get the game and have what they have, and you know, they can't upgrade it, you know, very much. But I would say if you can try to save up some money, whether it's, you know, birthday money, whether you have a job, you know, mow some lawns, whatever, just to save up, the $183 version monitor of the 27 inch is going to be just perfect, especially if you only play console. They do have a 24 inch in that style too, but like I said, I like the 27 inch, and if I'm not going to, you know, necessarily do PC gaming, I think MLB The Show works really well even on a bigger monitor. I just have the smaller one for, like I said, PC gaming, and I just think that it's, when you're playing PC and there's a little bit more things you have to focus on outside of your initial person, where MLB, it's mostly the main focus is on, you know, like the batter or something that's like right there, then it's just a little bit more to kind of, you know, shift your eyes. You don't have to do as much, you know, panning or searching. But hopefully this helps for you guys. Like I said, I saw a lot of questions, I saw a lot of, you know, responses as well. I know my I looked up, you know, and made sure that my specs and everything, that the stuff I was talking about, you know, I was really refreshed up on it. But like I said, there's a lot of technical specs, a lot of the panels, a lot of, you know, this and this. Oh, this might's better, this is better. Kind of just, you know, do some research, look at what other people like, look at some reviews, determine for yourself. But like I said, I'd recommend Asus because they're just a brand that I've been using for the last few years, streaming, playing games, console, PC, and it's just been, you know, perfect and spot on. But like I said, hopefully you guys take this information and use it to your benefit, but definitely get a monitor. It will make your MLB game step up to the next level instantly, and you will notice it right away. Until next time, have a great day and stay safe. Slow as fuck. Oh, let's go. Let's fucking go. Holy shit.